What is good, y'all? Welcome to Let's Cap. I'm your host, Ronald Kabang, also known as Youcapper from Sportsmemo.com, at Youcapper Sports on Twitter. Got my guy Chris be capping with me. Mitch, man, I can't even see your Twitter tag right now. It's all
Mitch
uh,
and Ness.
Mitch and Ness. Mitch in the building. You guys see him in the chats all the time. He's also on the panel once in a while as well with us today on a short slate, only 4 games, guys. This weekend wasn't the best for me as far as the basketball on basketball, but soccer was good. MMA was okay, but college basketball and NBA didn't not do well. So trying to get back on track here to start this week off. How was your guys' weekend?
Came through yesterday, but had a rough one. Had a rough one on Friday. I believe that was the last time I was on the show.
Yeah,
I think I went 0-2 on officials, and then the one lean that I was sitting there on the fence about did hit. Obviously,
yeah.
that I didn't play, but 0-2 on officials did well yesterday with some props, and hopefully they continue that onwards onto today.
Yeah, that's the worst when you're because you're trying to do low volume and then you play the ones that miss, and then the ones that you were really leaning towards but didn't get there because you were trying to hold off. Those hit. Those are like the worst to kind of bounce back off of. But hopefully we get on track today. Chris, how was your weekend?
Yeah, see, it's been good, man. Ever since All Star break, right before All Star break, I think we started picking it up a little bit. But since All Star break, we've been rolling, been cashing. I see a lot of them have been, more so totals than looking at these sides. As one thing I've just been doing is just kind of staying away from the sides, just till we get enough information about these teams. Like I wanted to back the Clippers yesterday. I feel like we need to see them, a few more times, especially if they're going against Denver. So a lot of these teams are still adjusting. Lakers, I wanted to get behind yesterday. Ended up talking about them in the first half. They ended up losing the first half, but they won that game
Yeah.
outright as well. So yeah, overall, RC, it's been a really good day, man. I did the show with Jay yesterday, gave out the Cavs team total to go over, fading the Raptors defense on
Oh
the second
yeah.
night back to back, and the third game in 4 nights, and that cashed relatively easy. So yeah, seeing it clear, RC right now, trying to keep it going, man. Make as much money as we possibly can before the season ends, or before it becomes a little too difficult and tricky once the playoffs start.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to get Killer Sports up right now, but it seems to be being slow. Are you guys having any issues on that at all? We might need to go to Give Me the Dog if that's the case. I just want to check Give Me the Dog to make sure they're working.
Yeah, it does seem slow. Everything's working until you try and get to the NBA SDQL page.
Okay, we'll just use Killer. I mean, sorry, Give Me the Dog today. I'm gonna bring up my screen. It's been a while since we focused on Give Me the Dog, so the layout's actually a little bit different, but obviously the functionality is still the same here. Let's go on to that first game here, the Heat versus the Sixers. I think I think I'm the one that has like the most strength on this one. I feel like that towards the Sixers side here, but I do, like I said, if you guys caught the triple double show, I do want to wait until Harrell's officially in because I feel like just him saying, well, once he was announced that he was going through shoot around, the line moved a half point to 5.5 at some books. Some didn't move, but some did. I'm assuming that if they're gonna move a half point on news that he went through shoot around, that when he's actually in, they'll probably move a little bit more. So I'd probably wait on the Sixers line here. But a lot of things are pointing me towards the Sixers. Before I go into that breakdown, though, do you guys have anything on this game at all?
I think RC real quick. I think in this game, I'm also with you there on this. I mean, Sixers are nothing for me. You look at this,
Yeah,
this Miami team, and they've just been struggling. They've been struggling to score the ball. They typically, they don't play as well on the road. Also, just looking at the stats, looking at the trends, and it's a big part of it is their offense. They if they can't make threes consistently, then they're a really really difficult team to back. And they just really been struggling overall. This is the first of a back-to-back little mini series because these two teams do play again Wednesday in Miami when Miami starts that nice homestand. But I'll let you get into your breakdown. So I know you're probably gonna say a lot of the things that I looked at as well. I do have a query that I want you to look at the end as well, RC. After you get go through and give you a breakdown.
I don't think anything's working right now. Mitch, did you have anything on the prop side before while I'm trying to get all this?
Just Jimmy Butler points. Looking at Jimmy Butler points. I really wanted to play it last night. It was sitting at 21.5 minus 110. But just me and Jimmy Butler don't get along too well. It seems that whenever I do bet on him, he has one of those nights where he wants to shoot the ball 9 times and have be John Stockton out there with 15 assists or something. So I stayed away. But just from his press conference last game, him saying, they seem that he really need to do something. He's looking like, he's going to have to look to himself. But it almost seems that way. You go back to I know it is playoffs, but, he's cleared this line in his last 6 games in the playoffs versus these guys. Seems like it's going to be a playoff atmosphere tonight. Jimmy hates these guys. He used to play for them. I think it's somewhat of a revenge angle as well. But the only other angle I really liked was 76ers first quarter. Miami Heat is 2-8 in ATS in the first quarter in the last 10. Sixers are only 4-6, but when you look at the first few team ratings, I put the link in the YouTube chat. You can see that the Heat, their defensive rating is 27th in the league over the last 10. Their offensive rating is 21st in the league over their last 10. And this is all for first quarter. Their first quarter average margin is minus 2.8, and the Sixers is plus 1.6. So I'm looking for 76ers to beat the Miami Heat by 2 points in the first quarter.
Is this the link that you sent out in the chat?
Mitch,
Yes,
sir. Yes, sir.
The first one. Okay, cool. Yeah, I like this. What was his name again from?
Is that Matt Porter?
Matt Porter.
If you get me on Twitter, I'll put my handle in. I retweet his stuff most days. I'll throw his stuff in the chat as well, just so you guys
Matt updates it every morning, right?
Yeah. I know sometimes he's busy and it doesn't kind of get in until around 11 or so, and he's on the West Coast. But it's usually up by around noon, and he'll post what he's playing personally as well. So
yeah, shout out to Matt because you just need this one link, save it, and then it updates. He'll update it for you. So it's always good to have this type of information, especially if you're into betting like quarters and stuff like that. This one is specifically first quarter though. So let's go into what I was seeing here. So specifically, obviously the Sixers as at home, they've been really well. They've been doing really well here. 24-9 straight up, 22-11 ATS. They are coming off of that loss to the Celtics. They did lose, obviously off that 3-pointer from Tatum. But if you look into it a little bit deeper, they haven't lost multiple home games in a row since early November. And I don't think they were a full squad since then, right? And if we go into it a little bit deeper and we say they're the home favorite, 21-7 straight up, 18-10 ATS. It doesn't, and they won and covered the last 5 in a row here. Cavs, Grizzlies, Rockets, Knicks, Magic. These first 3 weren't that I guess telling because they should have won those games, but Cavs and Grizzlies were tight games. They ended up winning and covering those. This is another, I would say, I feel like the line is really close to where it should be. I would think -5 would be where it goes if Harrow is in, and that's where I probably would take them at the -5 there. But you can see the average margin is around 6 points, and you get that there, so that's pretty close to the line. But if we go deeper into it and we say they're going against a team with a winning record, and this is where the difference becomes, they show up against good teams, right? They're 12-0 straight up, 10-2 ATS in that spot. And then they're winning by close to 8 points per game. I know it's pretty tight to the line, but I still trust them to get it done today, especially if the Heat are doing some like rotation. They're obviously going to have to get used to Harrow coming back. Lowry is still out. The rotation isn't complete yet, right? They're still working on that. There's not a lot of consistency on that side because of the injuries. If we go into it on the Heat side here, shoot, let me just stay with the Sixers real quick. Another thing with the Sixers side here, if we go into it and say they're coming off of a loss and their opponent has a winning record. Okay. So again, basically just seeing how they do against top tier teams off a loss and at home. There you go. 3-0 straight up, 3-0 ATS in that spot, winning by an average of double digits here. And you see them, -7 here, comparable line, ended up winning by 11. They beat the Hawks, they beat the Suns here. And like I said, double-digit win margin in all of those. Does support that first quarter as well, about 6+6 in the first quarter. The other thing here is on the Heat side, I think they're the opposite when it comes to playing teams with a winning record, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll bring that up here. And it was more specifically as road dogs. So 3-6 straight up, 3-6 ATS there. Average margin there around 8.6. Again, supporting the Sixers on the first quarter there. So I a lot of things to me just pointing towards the Sixers here as far as this matchup goes. Like I said though, I would probably wait until the 5 comes if Harrow is in. Chris, anything to add on that one?
Yeah, I think, besides the query trends that you're looking at, RC, you just look at how these teams play and what they need to do to be successful. The Miami Heat are not a successful team if they can't shoot the three-point ball, right? They typically have a lot of guards with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, and they just shoot a lot of three-pointers. And if you're not making those threes, then it's going to be really, really difficult. You look at this Philadelphia 76ers team, Doc Rivers does not allow you to score from the three-point line. They're top 5 in the league as far as three-pointers allowed per game, and opponent three-point percentage as well. So if you get those guys off the line, I see, then it can be really, really difficult. They can have a really, really difficult night because it's not as easy for them to score in the paint. So I think that's one thing I see. The other thing I wanted to, and you don't have to type this one in if you want to, but I was just trying to look at these spots. So I got a query, RC. So since 2015, home favorites post All-Star break. Post All-Star break, playing on at least 1 day's rest versus an opponent on their third game in 4 nights. We didn't talk about that for Miami, but this is a third game in 4 nights for them. Coming off 2 losses.
The home favorite is coming off 2 losses?
No, the road team. The opponent is coming off 2 losses. Miami started 0-2 since the All-Star break.
Gotcha.
And the line, and you add that the line is 6.5. I think is what I saw yesterday, RC.
At least favored
at
by
least,
6.5?
Yeah, at least 6.5.
Is that right?
Flip the line, RC. I think maybe it was the other way. I got 16-6 straight up, 15-7 against the spread, 68%.
Shoot.
Oh, I know what you did. You did the rest differently. You did
okay.
either or. I just did
Rest
the
equal 0.
Yeah, I did the rest equals 1 and previous rest equals 0.
Is that closer?
That's it right there.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
15-7 ATS. It's pretty tight too on the average margin there. But these losses are huge. 25, 41, 20. Okay, that's probably why the number's so off. That makes sense to me. Just like if you're favorites after the break, it seems like they're the ones who are more motivated to get it going. That I think that makes sense to me. I mean,
yeah, and the other thing I see is that you're facing it's momentum, right? You're facing a team that's already losing post All-Star break, so you want to find a way to continue to fade that team. So
yeah, and even just looking at their offensive rating in the last 10 games, they're bottom 3 in offensive rating. They're just not clicking right now at all offensively. And even if Harrell comes back, yeah, he's an offensive weapon, but it's just that chemistry of him coming back in that first game will probably be an issue.
Yeah. Additionally, I see a couple things I had. Heat 12-18-1 against the spread on the road, just 4-6 straight up, 2-8 against the spread in their last 10. They've lost 4 in a row and failed to cover all 4 spreads as well. It's also a third game in 4 nights, like we talked about, with their only day off being yesterday.
Yeah.
The Heat are also 2-10 straight up and 4-8 against the spread as a road dog with a total of 225 points or lower. 1-8 straight up, 2-7 against the spread as a road dog in conference games of less than 225 points as well. I see. So when they get in these games, when they're road dogs and it's a total that's low, they're the team that typically doesn't score in that spot, and they don't cover spreads in that spot either.
Gotcha. I don't know
Them-
why this comes up. Okay. Yeah,
I'm
what's up,
liking
Mitch?
the under. Yeah. How you guys feel any way about this total in this game?
I mean, I would lean the under just because Heat's offense is struggling. I
Yep.
think Philly's defense has been pretty good, if I'm not mistaken. Philly top 10 in defense. Pace wise, obviously, I think
The most
that would
slow.
push the under there, and that's the reason why the total's so low. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I played it. I played the under. Not a big play, not an official, but I did sprinkle on that under.
2.7. Oh, why
I
is
got
it going up?
217 on the.
I probably just think it's too low.
Yeah, it was a 217.5 last night. I think it was down to 215.5 this morning, and I think it's hovering back up there. So
Yeah.
maybe just Hero news. I think they're maybe expecting Hero to be out.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think totals on the road. You look at road dogs RC on the third leg and third game in 4 nights. I think those totals go up. I think that may be some reason why the total's going up. So maybe a Philly team total over in this spot, because if I'm playing the over at all, just because, like I talked about, this is the third game in 4 nights, and you're looking at road dogs. This is the same spot that I kind of faded the Toronto Raptors in last night. Road dogs, third game in 4 nights.
I just want to look at that. You said Sixers team total over?
Yeah, if I'm playing the over at all, I'm definitely looking towards the Sixers team total over.
Gotcha.
But in those spots, if I want to take a team total over and I think the other team may go under, then it's typically better to just take the spread. that's how you talk yourself into taking the spread. And that's what I didn't do with the Cavs yesterday, and it cashed too, but I just played the team total over.
If we look at the team total over, so if I go back to one of the trends that I brought earlier, home favorite against teams with a winning record, that is 9-3 to the team total over for the Sixers. So I mean, I can't talk you off of that either.
They're probably both gonna cash, I see. I like them today.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one here. Pistons and Hornets here. I think if I'm not mistaken, we're pretty much aligned on this one. Mitch, you want to go first?
Yeah, let's go. I got so first play, top play, and this is another one from Mr. Matt Porter. First quarter, Charlotte Hornets -2. If you bring up that first quarter report once again, you can see that. Let's bring it up here.
Is it too small?
My end as well. I got Charlotte Hornets 7-2 ATS. Last 10 or 7-2 or last 9, they must have a push, and they are net rating 6th in the league in first quarters. I got Detroit Pistons on the other hand, who are net rating 28th in the league in first quarters right now. Their average margin is -4.5. Charlotte Hornets average margin is 3.3. Pistons offensive rating is 29th. I'm just spitting out everything that you're able to see on this chart right in front of you.
I think it helps because not a lot of people have been seeing this. So as you break it down, I'm kind of just pointing to the direction of where it's at.
Yep. Yeah. So I usually work in the last 10, in the last three I guess ranges there in the last 3 tables.
Yeah.
I'm looking for recent trends. I'm looking for how are these teams playing right now. I'm looking for what is their net rating and their pace. So Hornets are playing quick and they're scoring and they're playing good defense, and there's not much more to it than that. Pistons are also missing Jaden Ivey today, who helps them a ton offensively and who pushes the pace for them. And they are also missing potentially Bogdanovich, I think. So Pistons, I don't know how they're going to score, where their points are going to come from. Especially against this Hornets team who actually seems kind of revitalized defensively. Ever since they traded Mason Plumlee, they've got Mark Williams, who's actually, a great defender, playing in the paint. They've got, Gordon Hayward, I think might, getting his form back is helping a little bit with this team's offensive and just their cohesiveness and their depth, really. They've got guys like Terry Rozier and I guess PJ's not playing tonight, but you got guys like, Terry Rozier who are taking third, fourth option, who is most of the year was the first option without Ball and without Gordon Hayward. So teams looking a little bit deeper, teams playing well right now, and it's just fade the team that's playing like ass, like the Detroit Pistons, and back the team that's playing real good. And get in, get out. Don't play with the full spread. Get in and out in the first quarter.
Just keep it simple. Yeah. What up, Chris? What do you got on this one?
Yeah, I think Mitch hit a lot of points I see, but one thing I'll say about the Pistons, they are still playing hard. I give them credit for that, right? They are I think 15th defensively in the month of February, I see, which is what leads me to looking at the under in this game. Actually, my favorite play of the day. I posted a video on it earlier. I actually got it at 237. It dropped down to 236 is what I gave it out for the Bet US play of the day, but I don't know if I like it as much right now, RC, because both of these teams are two of the top teams as far as pace, but that pace doesn't always lead to scoring, right? So Mitch kind of mentioned Bogdanovich and Duran is already out as well. And then, Jaden Ivey is also out. Pistons are on a 4-game losing streak. They are 5-2 to the under in the month of February in conference games, RC. Second worst offensive rating in the month of February as well. That is the Detroit Pistons. On the opposite side, no PJ Washington for Charlotte. This is a third game in 4 nights for Charlotte as well. They are 4 straight wins and covers. They're 3-0 to the under when they're playing on the third game in 4 nights as a home favorite. 7-1 to the under as a home favorite overall, but the only over actually being an OT game. And I talked about it. Both of these teams are 14th and 15th defensively in the month of February. So they're still playing hard. I like that, the Pistons have some rim protectors down there. And I also like that Charlotte have some rim protectors down there as well. And we've seen the Charlotte Hornets totals just inflated. RC, I don't know how much money you've made, but I know we've made a good bit of money taking the unders in Charlotte's game, especially when they're at home. So I love that spot, RC. I don't know if I played at the current number right now, but I do think that game goes under. I see Detroit struggling to score, similar to some of the other tanking teams, just that don't have enough offense, especially without Ivy in this game, to go along with Bogdanovich, who are probably their best two, offensive players as far as playmaking and shot select and shooting.
Yeah, if you just bringing up some stuff that you brought up, the Hornets as favorites, they're 10-3 to the under, and then I think you mentioned home favorite, right? They're 7-1 to the under in that spot. They did go over with the Pistons. It did go into OT. I think it went over. I'm assuming this went over in regulation. But if we go back to just favorite in general, there was another game here that they had against the Pistons that did go under by double digits here. So I do agree also with the under there. Yeah, going back to just the Hornets in general, they've gone under in I think 9 of their last 11 games. Here you go. There's a real big cluster of under there. They have been winning here the last four games heading into the All-Star break and then coming out of it. So they are playing some good basketball now. The other thing to mention though is this. I mean, I feel like it was Austin A. Wang that mentioned it in the chat. Like they're failing to tank properly, right? So I think this is one of those games here. You're looking at the Pistons. Obviously, they both of these teams are the bottom of the East here. But if you look at them against teams that they've already beat this season, they actually been covering these games here. 6-1 ATS in that spot. I'm not sure if the Pistons can win this game, but because of both of these teams are pretty bad, I feel like they should be able to keep it close. And it also leans towards the under here. Average combined score close to 230, and we're seeing a 235, 234 and a half and most of the books. So I could only look towards the under. I could also only look towards the Pistons from the spread perspective. If you look at these games here, the last 6 that they did cover, they kept their opponent's team total under as well. So that's one thing that I was looking at. They're actually playing some solid defense in these spots that they match up well against opponents. If we go back to the Hornet side, one more thing. I feel like you mentioned this, but the third game in 4 nights, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
3-0, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think you looked at it more specific, but if we go rest plus PRES equals 1. 7-9 to the 9-7 to the under. But if you say that they're at home, they're 8-2 to the under altogether. 227.1 combined score there. So
make them a favorite too, RC.
Home favorite. Oh, okay. That's what you're talking
there
about.
There you go. That's what I was talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not doing well at all in these spots. Only 111. Well, they won and covered
some
this
unders.
Yeah. Under would be the way that I go.
I see
Even
one
this
more.
one here, even if they do cover, I still wouldn't be able to talk anyone off the Hornets team total under. Because even the one that they did cover in this spot here, but was by the hook.
Mm-hmm. I see one more thing.
Yeah.
I was just kind of looking at trends. If we just look at post All-Star break, if we look at post All-Star break and we look at conference games, and then
Shit,
just add like
just after All-Star break right now, it's
right.
36. That's
So
crazy. Okay.
right. So you got to divide it, of course. I see, because it's gonna be like every game, right? And
Oh,
then
yeah.
so then you could do like home. I just typically do like home. And I mean, it's some profit, I see, just to we gonna see these totals go down, but that's what percentage did you have right there? I see
10, 17,
63%
63.
of games
Yeah.
going under, post All-Star break, as long as it's a conference game. So
True, it's even a little bit slightly better here. Home teams are covering too. Jeez.
yeah, just a just a capper's tip for people out there that's scared to play them unders. I see.
Yeah. All right. All right. I mean,
Couple props for this one too. I know
yeah.
that we're looking at unders and we're not expecting a lot of points. There was one guy that I liked his points tonight is Gordon Hayward. He's sitting at 16.5, I believe. He's really gaining his stride. He's starting to play well. He's starting to get touches. He's starting to get minutes. He's gone his last 5 games 21, 27, 16, 26, and 21. He has played a couple teams that do give up a lot of points, but in there's also a Heat team where he scored 21 points. So I think he's able to go over 16 and a half with ease tonight.
Is it just points, right?
Just points, Gordon Hayward points. I really
Yeah.
like Mark Williams blocks over 1.5, and that's plus 105. I think, like we said, there's going to be some defense tonight. There's going to be some. He's going to have the opportunity without Plumlee there anymore. He has not hit it in his last 2 games, but he's a defensive monster. I don't know if you guys watched him over at Kentucky last year in the NCAA, but he does the job. His rebounds are also at 9.5. He picked up 20 last game. He's finally getting minutes. And he's finally got a window for playing time. So no PJ Washington tonight, so that opens up the door a little bit more. I know Nick Richards is right there behind him, but he's not seeing more than 20 minutes a game. So
What was the number on the blocks?
1.5 plus 105. That's what I got this morning.
That's actually a good look.
So
I like that. The blocks one's intriguing.
yeah, and especially just I don't know who's going to be shooting for these Pistons, right? If you take out Ivy and you take out Bogdanovich, there's a lot of
They're going to be a lot of points. They're going to be like pretty
they're
much
be feeding
in the
Isaiah
paint.
Stewart, and they're
Yeah.
going to be feeding I don't know who. That's another look too. Maybe
Wiseman.
Alec Burks. Maybe if depending on what Alec Burks props would release at. I know the last couple of games it's been 9.5.
Yeah.
If he gets over, if he's over like 13.5 or something, you might, just by process of elimination, someone's got to score for those guys.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Let's go to our next one here: Boston Celtics and New York Knicks. I don't know, man. I was kind of leaning Knicks here. I was also leaning towards the under here, but maybe you guys have a stronger look. This wasn't my strongest game because both teams really playing pretty well right now. Celtics won and covered 7 of the last 8. Knicks won and covered last 7 of the last 8 as well. Looking at just ratings, last 10 games, 4th and 3rd in offensive rating for both teams. Both teams, as far as pace wise, pretty much the same there. Was it both teams in bottom 5 in pace, and then also 1 and 2, like a 1 to 2 point gap in defensive rating in the last 10 games as well. So everything really just so close, and that's probably why the line's at where it is. So I don't know. To me, just leaning towards Knicks here. Some stuff pointing towards the under as well. Did you guys have anything strong on this one?
I know Chris is on the side. Why don't you start us off, Chris? Or not on the side, but you got some stats on one.
Yeah, I see you. I mean, I think you laid it out perfectly. I see it's a really difficult game to cap, man. It almost feels like one of those games where if you are going to play it, you're really, really gambling, because both of these teams are so hot right now that when I can't find a big enough edge, I see, similar to you, we always talk about like tilting and like trying to force plays. I just typically don't, and I feel like this is a really, really tough one. What I'm not doing though, RC, what I'm not in the business of doing is fading the Boston Celtics though. They
Yeah.
win close games, RC. That's one thing that I kind of looked at. Other than the revenge angle that you have, because they did lose in Boston at home in overtime in their last matchup against the New York Knicks a couple weeks ago. Coming off an emotional win, they typically do well in this spot, RC. It doesn't matter if they're on the road. I got the Celtics at in close games. 10 and I think 11-4 straight up. 11-4 against the spread as well in games where they're 3-point favorites or less. RC, look at that real quick. And then 3-7 straight up and 8-2 in conference games in that spot as well. So they just typically, they play well in this spot, RC. Like they win these close games. Yeah, they win the close games. And this is why I told people, I did the show with Jay over the weekend, and I said, Celtics are nothing, because if you catch them in a small line, it's almost like you can take advantage and, and they win those games. I know they without Jaylen Brown, but I looked at it and shared those numbers earlier, RC. Let me see if I can go back to them real quick. Without Jaylen Brown, he's not there this year. But the Celtics are 8-2 straight up, 8-1-1 against the spread without him this season. 4-2 straight up, 4-1-1 against the spread in road games as well. So they're winning games without him as well. I just don't want to fade the Knicks right now, because you mentioned they are 8-2 straight up, 7-2-1 against the spread, coming off a pretty big game where they didn't have to do much against the Pelicans, who kind of rolled over and was getting poked with a stick on Saturday night. People asking them to do something because they were just kind of there. But so for all of those reasons, I see it's a difficult game for me to cap, but I'm not in the business of fading the Celtics on these small spreads at all. I see.
Yeah, I saw the line at like 5. I guess it opened up at like 5 or something like that. That would have been a good one to get into, but 2.5, it gets really tight, like you mentioned.
That was before the Jaylen Brown news. Yep.
Yeah. So the other thing too, though, is right here. The Celtics in revenge games, they are 0-9 against the spread there. That's one thing that I mentioned on Triple Double Show as well. If you look at these, Chris, like these tighter lines too, they're not winning them. It could just be a situation where maybe they just don't match up well against them.
What is RC? That's why I stayed off.
Yeah. If we go to the Knicks side, and we say
Knicks are playing well right now too, man. So
they're both teams in really good form right now. So we go Knicks side and we go home dog in conference, 4-3 straight up, 4-2-1 ATS, 5-2 to the under. So that's the other reason why I was looking towards the under. One thing that you mentioned was those tight lines for the Celtics. I didn't even look at that, but a lot of that stuff looked towards the under. On this one here, this one looked toward the under as well. Home dogs in conference situations. If we look at the last 3 games, they beat the Cavs, Heat, and Sixers here. Like I said, man, they're just playing really well right now against even against the top tier teams. And if we go back to Celtics, another one to the under, I think it's just them as road favorites. If you go,
it is. They're 11-5 to the under as road favorites in conference games too. I see with 2 of the overs actually coming in overtime. They also, I had looked at that as well. I see. So that would be my top look for the game, is just playing the under. But
the under, right?
It'd be under or nothing for me in this one.
I think so too. 220. What is the total right now?
I hate that we don't get it at the best number. Yeah, it's already come down. That's why I see.
Yeah, I'll probably stay away, but I would lean towards the under. I also lean towards I know you can't bet against the Celtics right now, but I would lean towards the Knicks here if anyone actually bets it. But yeah, I don't think I'm gonna touch it. I would have probably taken the Celtics Knicks under last night. What was it again? 220.
I think it was 225, right?
226.
226, yeah.
But I still would lean that way. I think
me too.
That way.
Me too.
All right, let's go to this last game here.
Wait, 1 second, I got a couple
go
here, Ronald. So Marcus Smart, I like his assist tonight. He has gone over his assists without Jaylen Brown in the lineup, and 6 straight. Sorry. He's hit. His line is at 5.5 tonight. It opened up this morning around plus 115. I think it's over at minus 115 now. It is assists over 5.5. He's hit 6 last game, 6, 12, 10, 15, 10, 4, and 12. So he's gotten a double-double in assists in 5 of the last 8 games without Jaylen Brown, and the line that they're giving you is 5.5. So I like those odds. I'm rolling with Marcus Smart. That's my top play of the day. Marcus Smart assist.
Yeah, wasn't it Matt on triple double also gave out Jason Tatum
Yep. Yeah.
PRA.
I really like
He
Jason
was,
Tatum
what did he
rebounds.
say? 44 and a half, 45 and 44 and
I
a
think
half,
it was
right?
44.
Yeah, he
44 and a
hit
half.
Tatum's hit that in 6 of the last 7, I think 7 of the last 10, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm calculating correctly. But and I think all of that is within this year too, starting from here. So I like that look a lot too, the Tatum PRA. The only one he didn't hit was this one right here against the Grizzlies. He went 3 for 16. So I wouldn't expect that today, even though they're, yeah. I mean, Knicks is,
Yeah, and his what's it called? His R plus A has been going off as well. His rebounds and assists. Lately, he's really become somewhat of a, you know, Robert Williams is the guy boxing out, and he's the one flying in for rebounds. So his
yeah.
over 8.5 rebounds looks pretty good today. But I think that without Jaylen Brown and Tatum's increased usage, and the fact that he's probably going to be, getting thrown a bunch of double teams at him, he might even, have a shot at hitting his assist line too. So I think his rebounds plus assist is a good look. I also, DGen, I just sprinkled a tiny bit on his triple double for plus 3,000. Sprinkled a bit on Marcus Smart double double for plus 1,500. I think it's down to 1,400 over at DraftKings, but you can still pick up that Marcus Smart double double.
Yeah, that's a good look. I didn't even think about Marcus Smart. I was kind of just because I heard Matt talk about Jason Tatum, I was only focusing on that too.
Yeah, I'm interested to see Punt and Finesse's thoughts on that because they're both big Boston guys, and I think they got a show later tonight. So I'm definitely gonna
Oh
ask them
yeah, that's gonna be
what's
Boston
going
Love
on.
on the show. What,
Yeah,
2 o'clock,
yeah,
right? We gotta send that link out too.
yeah.
All right, let's go on to this last one here. Magic and the Pelicans. Real quick, I was leaning towards the Magic here and also to the under again. That's the only way that I could look here. Do you guys have any strong looks on this game here?
Not much, RC. I lean towards the under as well. I just feel like it's a desperation spot for the Pelicans. I also feel like the Magic their offense is kind of tailed off. They haven't really been scoring a lot of points, RC. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but they really, kind of struggled to score. The Pelicans typically go under when they're at home as a favorite, and we know that they go over when they're a road dog. So, giving up the last couple games that they've had, they've absolutely got demolished. And Coach Willie Green keeps coming out. He says the same thing. I watched the post game interview. Talks about how he has to set the tone for his team. It's also a one-off for them as well. RC, I think I was reading something earlier that said that this is their only home game in a 25-day span. So yeah. So you might want to bring something in that for in front of your home fan,
Yeah.
in front of your home fans in this spot. I see. So for all those reasons, I think I kind of lean towards the under in this spot. I did play Wendell Carter Jr. I see. I talked about it earlier on my show. Played his points plus rebounds just because the Pelicans have been struggling, guarding opposing centers. So what I have listed in my notes is that he's coming off a poor game. Typically, that's when you want to back players. He only had 5 points and 11 rebounds on 1 for 11 shooting against the Pacers the other day. He got in foul trouble, picked up 3 fouls in the first quarter, but he's averaging 15 and 9 in just under 30 minutes per game this year. In the month of February, I'm sorry. Pelicans are bottom 10 in points allowed to centers. They're also allowing the 6th most rebounds to centers over the last 7 games. And you look at some of the other centers that the Pelicans have played against recently. They gave up 43 points plus rebounds to Anthony Davis, 41 to Mobley, 35 to Julius Randle, 39 to Youcapper, and 31 to Jared Allen. So for all of those reasons, I think Wendell Carter Jr. has a pretty big game today. We don't need him to do much. 15 and 12 will cover this 24.5 number, and I think he's in contention to get this, especially with them only having Giannis Valanciunas, because Larry Nance Jr. isn't going to play. He was seen on crutches the other day, so he's not going to play in this game, which gives even more. It could extend Jonas Valanciunas away from the rim because Wendell Carter Jr. can shoot jump shots, and that'll make it harder. I think for Valanciunas to be able to guard Wendell Carter Jr. I took him over 24.5 points plus rebounds.
Points and rebound. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, only prop I'm on that game is Wendell Carter double double plus 170. So let's make it happen, Chris. I was looking at this one and I wanted to play the under, and I was looking at the under, and it just would have been weird, playing unders on all the games today. But the one thing that kept me off was Orlando, just in non-conference games. They're 16-6 to the over, so that's a 72% on the season, and that just wasn't that enough. That right there was just enough to make me stay away. And it seems like their sample size in 22 games, it's not small, and they've gone over it 16 times. So there must be something. I don't know. I didn't dig into it too deep, see if they were on the road or underdogs or what it was. I just saw that was the pace, and with the Pelicans' recent lack of defense, especially to that center position, I couldn't get behind it. I couldn't get behind it. However, the Pelicans are really struggling to score right now. But then again, Pelicans are really struggling to score, and that's on the road. So they haven't cleared 110 points. I think they've only done that in one of the last 5 games, and the one time they did, they were at home. So I can't get behind it. But those are my train of thoughts, and the way that I was looking at this game, or trying to look at it, really.
Yeah. So if we I get it. I think that kind of talks me off of the under too, but I think I still do like the Magic in this spot here. If you look at the Pelicans right there, I mentioned on triple double, I think they're like, let's look at real quick. So they're 30 and 31 on the season, right? But if we look at a specific time frame, I think it might have been right after Zion got hurt, or very close to when Zion got hurt. 20 January 13, around there, they got on this bad losing streak, 4-14 straight up, right? They're losing by an average margin of close to, I think, over 6 points right there. But if we go in and we do that non-conference thing, see how they're doing in that spot there. 11-16 straight up, 11-16 ATS. Oh, fuck, hold on, I took the date out.
I had to zoom in there. I was looking in and
yeah, not conference during that time frame. There you go. 1-9 straight up, 2-8 ATS, losing by double digits on average. That's what kind of pointed me towards the direction of the Magic here. Is just their current form not being able to score offensively. If you look at the DPS, we know that means, that's points, their team total basically. That is 9-1 to the team total under. The one that went over by the hook. So a lot of the times they're just really struggling offensively in these games here. If we go back to the Magic side.
All right, see, real quick. What if you add right there at home? Did that change anything, or they just struggling to score at home as well?
Yeah, because that was the only really discrepancy that I was finding, was home versus on the road they really suck.
So they lost to the Heat, Wizards, Cavs, and then they beat the Hawks here. They still went under their team total, even if when they won. Yeah. So it seems like it's still that thing where they're struggling offensively there.
Okay, I just wanted to see, because I know we talk about that.
That's a good call.
Offensive struggles on the road versus at home.
Yeah. No, I got you. That's a good call out. Here. What the fuck am I looking at here? Road Dog. Okay, so we go Magic. Road Dog 10-19, straight up 16-10-3 ATS. But if we say it is a team, is this right? Shit, I'm not even looking at the right trend. My bad. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Road Dog non-conference. Shoot, I think you just mentioned this, right, Mitch? 4-5 straight up, 6-2-1 ATS, 6-3 to the over. So yeah, that takes the under away. And if we look at these totals here, if you look at the ones that are above 220, that's what, 6-1 ATS in that spot. I can only look towards the Magic if we're looking on the side here. Well, there was something else. Road Dogs following a home game too. So we go in that travel situation there, 7-2-2 ATS. It is pretty tight though. It's like a 2-point gap. Here, I think the last one was 2-point gap too. Right there, 2. So at the current number 4, I would lean towards the Magic here. I must stay away from the under though.
All right, so one more thing I want to just bring to attention. Kristen Clark one of the beat writers for the Pelicans, just tweeted this about 15 minutes ago. CJ McCollum got a right thumb injury that I don't think I was aware of. He said it's not ideal. This is a quote from CJ McCollum. It's not ideal. I'm playing. I have to be better. I will be better. I understand what's at stake for us, what's at stake for our seeding, and how these next few games are going to define our season. Just putting that information out there.
Yeah, no, I think I saw that someone else mentioned it about that hand too, but he was gonna play through it, right?
Yeah. To me, when I read that, how I interpret that is Brandon Ingram points, because it means CJ not gonna be scoring with a hand like that. So
yeah, I mean, would it just be PRA in general? Because that would take away his assist opportunity too, right?
Yeah, I liked it last game, RC, and Brandon Ingram kept shooting. He just couldn't make anything against the Knicks, but I mean, his shot attempts are definitely going to be there. I think his points probably sitting at 24.5. That might be the best player. Might be the best player prop outside of hopefully Wendell Carter Jr. today. You look at the shot attempts, RC, they're definitely there. Like, point per shot, like that's what
23.5.
I think it's 24.5 is what it's been sitting at.
Why would they lay that number? Why would they put that number out there? That's
24.5.
Yeah, doesn't that seem kind of easy?
Yeah, it does. But I mean, you got to make them. He just couldn't make them last game. But he was shooting to go for 50 last game. He was shooting like Dame last night.
Yeah,
I think his three is over 1.5 just because he's got he's got 13 attempts over the last 2 games. So I've got 1.5 minus 125. I took Brandon threes there.
25.5 is what the number is right now. I see minus 114.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a good look too. That makes a lot of sense. It just seems kind of easy. But if you just look at his game log, he's hitting on that.
Hey, look, I see. I gave it out on Jay's show the other day. I said he's 7 for 7, and then what happened in the next game?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think it was Jay that tweeted out about CJ McCollum torn ligament in his.
Yeah, it probably was Jay. That makes sense because I think it was like I think he said something like top secret info or something like that. All right, well, that's the 4 games, guys. We broke them down as much as we could. Hopefully you guys got some good information there. Let's go into the recaps here. I'm gonna take this out. Let's go with Chris first. So what do you want to drop for the viewers here?
Yeah, RC. So I think my favorite type play that's still left on the board is probably the Wendell Carter Jr. points plus rebounds. I played the under in the Hornets game. I talked about that one early against the Pistons. I'm also probably gonna get there with a few props. They'll probably be smaller plays, RC, but I like what Mitch mentioned about Mark Williams. I was looking at his points plus rebounds earlier. I think it's 22.5. I think he gets to that number today. Minutes just been there defensively. He's been playing really, really well. And then going back to that Celtics game, I know Mitch mentioned Marcus Smart assists. I was actually looking at his whole PRA over just without Jaylen Brown. Somebody typically has to step up, and I think he turns in. He thinks he's Jaylen Brown sometimes when Jaylen Brown's not there. Honestly, just based on me watching this game. So I like Jaylen Brown assists as well. But official play, I'm gonna go Wendell Carter Jr. over the points plus rebounds, RC. And I did, like I said, I played the under in Charlotte and Detroit.
You put the under at 237, right?
Yeah, I got it at 237.5. Then I played it again at 236.5 because I gave that out official earlier after it had dropped 1 point before Bogdanovich got ruled out and Ivy got ruled out.
Yeah, I played that last night too, but I got it at 237, so it was so just a hook off. But I actually, you don't like it at 234. I feel like it's gonna go under 230 combined.
No, I agree. I'm just not gonna play it again because I done played it twice, which is why I'm not gonna give it to you, your viewers. But yeah, I still like it. Yeah, I still like it.
All right, Mitch, what you got?
Marcus Smart, best bet of the day, over 5.5 assists. Hopefully you can still get it at plus money. If you can't, I still like the value. I still think he's going to get close to 10, so I'm sprinkling on his double-double. Second top play, Mark Williams, over 1.5 blocks. I like that one for another plus money, a plus 105. So yeah, those are my 2 favorite ones for today, and hopefully we are able to come back tomorrow and talk about our winnings.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so I also took the Hornets Pistons under 237 last night. I still do like it at 234.5, but obviously I'm not gonna add more money to it. Just like Jay said, I still do think it goes under. From a side perspective, I still like the Sixers here, but I do want to wait until Harrow is in and get a better number here. I think it does get to -5 if Harrow is announced in, and I'll take it there. Leans, I still lean towards Detroit, right? +6.5 there. I'll lean towards Detroit there. I also lean towards the Knicks and the under, and then also the Magic. I think that was it. And then I might get there with the smart assist because that makes hella sense. And then I also like that Tatum PRA too. All right, man. I don't like props, but you guys make it sound so. I always say that you guys make it sound so easy with the props. I kind of want to just tell you guys on those props there. But that might be the way that I go there. College plays. I think the only play that I'm looking at in college, I don't know if you guys touching on college at all, but the only play that I didn't get there yet, but the only play that I would look at would be Oklahoma State +1.5. That would probably be the only way that I go here. You know what? I just refreshed the odds screen and it's at Pick'em.
I saw YBB on that one too this morning.
Oh, he is?
Yep.
On there?
Yeah.
I just gotta. Okay. Damn, it's at Pick'em. What the fuck happened? I don't understand why it moved. Okay, well, I thought Oklahoma State was gonna win anyways, but that would be the way that I go. It don't matter. All right, so those are the plays there, guys. With that said, I always got to end with this. Whether you fade us or follow us, it is on you guys to make that call. Good luck with all your action. Until next time, peace.